Welcome back to my channel. Imagine this. Sunday evening, May 10th, 2026. The clock shows almost midnight in Ciudad de Mexico. Outside the Estadio GNP Seguros, more than 70,000 people stood in the streets. Don't have a ticket, cannot enter, but they didn't want to leave. And inside, the other 65,000 people had been screaming as loud as they could for 3 hours until their voices ran out, until their tears dried up, until their legs could no longer stand straight. And then, Jungkook did something that silenced the entire stadium. Not because of fear, not because I was surprised, but because their hearts are so full that there are not enough words to describe it. What happened that night? Why is this Jungkook moment the most searched for worldwide in 24 hours? And why are even non-ARMYs crying? Stay here, because this is not just an ordinary concert story. This is a night to remember forever. To understand why the night of May 10th was so heavy and so emotional, we have to step back first. The last time BTS set foot in Mexico as a full group was July 2015. Almost 11 years ago. 11 years? Guys, during that time, the Mexican army never stopped. They keep streaming, keep voting, keep carrying posters at airports, on sidewalks, wherever there is a glimmer of hope that BTS will come. They stood in the rain in front of the hotel where their idol did not necessarily live. They saved for years just to buy tickets to a concert that may or may not be available. And then for almost 2 years, BTS really left not because they wanted to, but because Korea has rules. Conscription. One by one, 7 young people have become part of the lives of millions. The man disappeared into the military barracks. Jungkook, the youngest, served his military service from December 2023 to June 2025. And when he got out, when all the BTS members finally got together again, the world really missed him. The Mexico City concert was BTS's first full group solo concert in the country in about 10 years and 10 months since July 2015. And all 3 shows sold out shortly after tickets were released. Star News Korea. Imagine the emotional stress, not only for ARMY but also for BTS itself. Even before the first concert started on May 7th, something extraordinary had already happened. The day before the first concert, BTS received a special invitation from Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum to visit the historic National Palace and greet tens of thousands of fans gathered at the Zocalo, creating a viral Purple Sea moment. Music Times. The historic square Zocalo in the heart of Mexico City turns into a sea of purple light. Nearly 50,000 armies throng the area just to get a glimpse of the 7 BTS members waving from the balcony of the National Palace. 50,000 people in the open square just to wave. Then, that night, for BTS members, Jin, Suga, Jimin, and Jungkook made a surprise that no one expected. They attended lucha libre matches at the iconic Arena Mexico, sitting front row, some even wearing wrestling masks to fully immerse themselves in the experience. And the most touching moment of the night was the unexpected emotional embrace between lucha libre icon Mystico and the K-pop superstars. Lost top news. Even at the second concert, May 9th, the dancers on stage appeared wearing lucha libre masks, and Jin wore the iconic jacket of the wrestler Mystico. Tribuna de la Bahia. They don't come as superstars watching from a distance. They come as people who really want to experience Mexico, feeling his soul. And the Mexican army felt it. The first night, May 7th, started with one sentence from Jungkook, which immediately became trending. "It's the first night here. Let's make it worth it," said Jungkook after taking the microphone to welcome the fans. Billboards. 3 sentences. But the way he said it with sparkling eyes, with a slightly trembling smile, was enough to make 50,000 people scream hysterically. During the concert, BTS performed new songs from the Erarang album, including Body to Body, Swim, and Hooligan, along with timeless hits like Butter, Dynamite, and Mic Drop. The members showed their love for Mexican fans by wearing t-shirts that read Ciudad de Mexico and interacting in Spanish throughout the show. Music Times. V, who is known as the most verbally expressive member, did something that made the local army crazy. "I learned a little Spanish. I want to tell you in Spanish how happy I am now, V said in Spanish to the 50,000 fans who packed the venue. First of all, I miss you so much, Mexican Army. I love you so much, Mexican Army. You are the reason for my life. You are my everything. Billboard. The stadium exploded. It wasn't just ordinary cheers. It was a collective cry that could be heard outside the stadium. Then the second night, May 9th, more than 100,000 fans came. Around 60,000 filled the stadium, singing and mingling with RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook. But another 40,000 people camped outside, turning the streets into a veritable festival. Don't have tickets? Does not matter. Everyone remains part of the show. Bollywood life. 40,000 people outside the stadium, singing without a stage, without a big screen, with just their voices and a love that can't fit in the building. J-Hope shouted from the stage, "You really know how to have fun. Music times." And he wasn't wrong. And then came that night, Sunday, May 10th, 2026. On closing night, more than 130,000 people were simultaneously around the Estadio GNP Seguros. While a lucky 65,000 people packed the venue to maximum capacity, official reports said more than 70,000 ticketless fans gathered in the surrounding streets, creating a veritable sea of army bombs that lit up the city. Tribuna de la Bahía, 130,000 people. For one night that everyone knows is the last night. And last night is always different. Last night had its own weight, a weight that couldn't be explained but could be felt in the chest, in the throat, in the corners of the eyes, which had started to heat up since the first song started. The set list that night was designed like a love letter. BTS chose Airplane PT2 as a surprise song, a song that directly mentions Ciudad de Mexico and mariachi. And then they performed Spring Day, which is considered one of the most beloved songs by the international fandom. Spring Day even became the first surprise song that was repeated throughout the entire world tour, arousing the curiosity of fans in other countries who were still waiting for the tour schedule. Tribuna de la Bahía. Imagine you've waited 11 years. You're standing there, light stick in hand, tears you're trying to hold back, and suddenly they play Airplane PT2. Songs that mention your city, your song. And it's not finished there. 1. In the middle of the performance of Body to Body, Army Mexico sang the traditional song, Arirang together with the group. Tribuna de la Bahía. 130,000 voices sang Korean ancestral songs with 7 men on stage who looked like they were trying hard not to cry. And then came the moment that broke the internet. Okay, this is the part you've been waiting for. Among all the spectacular moments of that night, among the surprise songs, the sea of purple, 130,000 people, there was one moment that stood out. A moment that is not planned, cannot be engineered, and can never be repeated exactly the same. Jungkook moment. We know Jungkook. We know he is the youngest golden magne who can do everything. Singing, dancing, painting, cooking, and making 65,000 people cry, with just one look in her eyes. But that night, something was different. Throughout the 3 nights in Mexico City, Jungkook seemed present in a different way. Not only physically present, but present with all his soul. Fans watching closely noted how his eyes kept scanning the crowd, as if he was trying to remember every face. And on the final night, when the extended instrumental part of Idol was played, the 7 members came down from the main stage to weave their way around the audience and greet the crowd up close. Tribuna de la Bahía. And Jungkook, instead of just waving or singing along the way, it stopped, in front of an army holding a poster with an old BTS photo from 2015. Photo taken in Mexico 11 years ago. He stopped, staring at the poster, and then looked at the girl holding it. He said something in Korean, but the words felt universal. Fans nearby who were filming reported him saying, "You've been waiting a long time, huh?" And the girl nodded, while crying. And Jungkook, who often looks tough on stage, lowered his head slightly, in the way Koreans do when they want to thank you wholeheartedly. It's not just a formality, not an automatic movement. This is real. The moment was recorded from various angles, and within hours, The video had been viewed millions of times. It's not that there's anything spectacular happening, there's no confetti exploding, there's no pyrotechnic sparkles. But because at that moment, Jungkook was not a superstar. He is human, who thanks other humans for waiting. And it's that which destroys the defenses of anyone who watches it. The video spread at a speed that even social media algorithms weren't prepared to handle. Within an hour, the words Jungkook Mexico trended #1 in 47 countries simultaneously. Armies from Korea, America, Indonesia, Brazil, the Philippines, Nigeria all responded the same way, crying. But what's more surprising, it wasn't just ARMY who cried. People who are not K-pop fans, who have never heard the name BTS in their daily lives, watched the video and felt something. On Twitter, a middle-aged man who claimed not to know who BTS was wrote, "I don't understand why I'm crying watching this video, but I'm crying." The answer is simple, because what Jungkook showed was not about K-pop. It's about sincere gratitude, about seeing other people really see them in the midst of an overwhelming crowd. In a world that is increasingly busy and increasingly impersonal, that is something rare. And that's why the world stopped for a moment to watch it. But the night didn't end there. At the closing concert, Suga acknowledged the presence of thousands of people who took part in the performance from outside the stadium. "I've heard that outside, like here, there are a lot of ARMY fans attending," said the rapper. Tribuna de la Bahía. Imagine an artist inside a stadium, speaking to 70,000 people standing outside in the dark of night, with no tickets, no stage, no nothing, just because they don't want to be away from this moment. And Suga saw them. He called them. They are seen. And then he asked a question that had the internet erupting in not so many tears, but cheers. Then he asked a question that set social networks on fire. "By any chance, is there a bigger stadium here in Mexico?" Tribuna de la Bahía. That's not an idle question. That's a promise. Not written, not official, but it was said in front of 130,000 people as witnesses. And the Mexican army understands it. One thing that makes this concert not just another concert is its impact on the city itself. Based on preliminary reports from local organizers and local authorities, the three concerts generated approximately $107 million in economic benefits for Mexico City, boosting hotel, restaurant, tourism, and merchandise sales. Music Times, $107 million of 3 nights, of 7 Koreans. But more than that number, BTS was truly present as guests who respected their hosts. Making the most of their visit, the idols were seen touring Espacio Escultórico UNAM, Atizapán de Zaragoza, Chapultepec, and enjoying Mexican lucha libre matches. Tribuna de la Bahía. They don't just come to perform and leave. They came to be in Mexico, to experience the streets, the food, the culture. V was even caught on camera eating a banderia, a typical Mexican snack, asking for algodón de azúcar, sugar cotton, at a food stall in the stadium, and raising a beer to toast ARMY. Tribuna de la Bahía. V ate market snacks in the stadium while thousands of people watched. And somehow, that felt more touching than anything. Because that means he's comfortable. That means Mexico is home, at least for that week. Let's talk numbers for a moment, because these numbers make no sense in the best way. BTS held a 3-day concert at the Estadio GNP Seguros, meeting around 150,000 fans. This was their first full group solo concert in Mexico in about 10 years and 10 months. Star News Korea, 136,000 tickets were sold out, and all tickets sold out shortly after sales opened. Music Times, 130,000 people were present in and around the stadium on the last night alone. Tribuna de la Bahía. 40,000 fans without tickets gathered outside the stadium to celebrate BTS' return to Latin America. Guayanas. And the Spring Day moment set its own record. Spring Day became the first surprise song repeated throughout Arirang's entire world tour. Tribuna de la Bahía. The only Mexican. Because Mexico is special. We often use the word historic too easily today. But if there is one moment that deserves the word, it is the night of May 10th, 2026 in Mexico City deserves it. Not because of his record, not because of 130,000 people in one place, Not because of the $107 million flowing into the city's economy, but because what happened there is proof that music, when performed honestly, when received with love, can transcend language, transcend national borders, transcend even time. 11 years. Mexican army waited 11 years. And when Jungkook stood in front of the girl with the old poster and bowed his head in genuine gratitude, he wasn't just thanking one person. He thanked everyone who had waited, who once streamed at night while crying. Those who have bought plane tickets before know that there will definitely be a concert, who once stood outside the stadium just to get a little closer. Jungkook looked at them all in one glance. And that is the most humane thing a superstar can do at his peak. At the end of the night, as the stadium lights began to go down and the BTS members waved their final goodbyes, there was a sentence repeated by each member in various language versions. We'll be back. Not a grandiose promise, not a dramatic promise, just 3 words. But after 11 years, those 3 words feel like the whole world. That's it, guys. BTS's last night in Mexico City, Arirang World Tour, May 10th, 2026. If you feel something from this story, whether it's emotion, pride, or even just curiosity, you're not alone. Millions of people around the world feel the same way. Drop in the comments column which part made you cry the most. Jungkook's moment with the poster, Suga who greeted 70,000 people outside the stadium, or the eating banderias while the camera is watching. If you haven't subscribed yet and you get here, press the subscribe button now, because the Arirang World Tour is still continuing and there are still many moments that we will discuss together. And if there's anyone you know who needs a reason to be an ARMY, send them this video, because this is enough. See you in the next video. Purple Heart.